then all of a sudden I had a freak injury in high school in wrestling. Yeah, I was killing everyone that year. And then, all of a sudden, things happened and I dislocated my elbow and then I was done. My senior year, it was over. And then right then and there, the doctors told me, "Oh, you'll never be able to fight. You'll never be able to wrestle again. You'll never be able to do jiu-jitsu. You're gonna probably be behind a desk the whole life." And the surgeon that did my surgery, he was like, "Man, this is one of the most craziest surgeries I've ever done in my life. You probably won't ever be able to do nothing ever again. It would be surprised if we get your arm past 90 degrees again." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm just not gonna sit down and hear that, you know?"
Right.
And so I told him, I was like, "I'll fight again, bro. I'll train again." I'm the type of person, if someone tells me like I can't achieve something, it's like, "Oh, it's a bet? Okay,
Right.
let's do it." And so I took that
And doctor's like,
personal.
"No, it's not a bet." Like, "No, I'm pretty sure you said bet."
Yeah.
I think you said bet.
What the hell's going on out here?
Fueled by spite. Shit, we just got right into it. I forgot the fucking intro and everything. So, everyone, thanks for watching. Like, share, all that stuff. Fueled by spite. Colton Loud, MMA fighter, fighting out of
Fort Worth, Texas.
gym.
Genesis Jiu Jitsu.
Perfect. Fight coming up in
3 days.
3 days.
Saturday.
In all reality, I feel like between entrepreneurs and fighters, we both get told,
Yeah.
why are you doing this? Right? Like, why are you starting your own business? Why don't you go into something that's safe, easy paycheck, regular? Why are you going to go get punched in the face?
Man, it's a funny question you ask me, but I started training when I was 7. I really fell in love with martial arts. I really started watching like Walker, Texas Ranger when I was like 5 or 6, man. And like, I don't know, but for some reason, I really liked that show when I was a kid. I still like it a lot, honestly.
Are you from Texas originally?
Yeah, I'm from Fort Worth.
Okay.
And so, so watching that, it made me want to get into like combat sports. So my dad knew this guy who was like a karate legend in the area, pretty much like the founder of American karate in Texas.
Oh, damn.
Like, not like your average, like, Joe Schmo karate dojo on the block. Hey, I'll give you $100 and you can have a black belt. It wasn't like that. It was like the old school karate where you go in there and you learn how to fight. You learn how to do these traditional techniques, straight head attacks, stuff that works. And so along the lines of my life, I just was training that for a while, and I ended up starting doing jiu-jitsu, started wrestling, and then all of a sudden I had a freak injury in high school in wrestling. I probably would have wrestled D2. My senior year, I was number 2 in the state for wrestling, and I was killing everyone that year. And then, all of a sudden, things happened, and at the regional tournament, the second day, I dislocated my elbow, and then I was done. My senior year, it was over. And then right then and there, the doctors told me, "Oh, you'll never be able to fight. You'll never be able to wrestle again. You'll never be able to do jiu-jitsu. You're gonna probably be behind a desk the whole life." And like, I'm the type of person, if someone tells me like I can't achieve something, it's like, "Oh, it's a bet? Okay,
Right.
let's do it." And so I took that.
And doctor's like,
personal.
"No, it's not a bet." Like, "No, I'm pretty sure you said bet."
Yeah.
I think you said bet.
And the surgeon that did my surgery, he did the surgery for the Texas Rangers.
Uh-huh.
He was a Texas Rangers surgeon, and he was like, "Man, this is one of the most craziest surgeries I've ever done in my life." And he was like, "You probably won't ever be able to do nothing ever again. You're gonna have limited mobility. It would be surprised if we get your arm past 90 degrees again."
Like,
Which is like this. A lot of people who don't know 90 degrees is like this. And I was like, "Nah, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm just not gonna sit down and hear that,
Right.
And so I told him, I was like, "I'll fight again, bro. I'll train again."
So, were you fighting? Were you fighting before you got the elbow injury, or before you got the surgery, or was that just wrestling? And
I had a few, not a few. I had a bunch of kickboxing matches as a kid, a bunch of kickboxing fights, and stuff like that. I had like a few like youth MMA matches back when they first started that. And then I just really dove into wrestling. Like, I was kind of burned out with it.
Mhm.
I was like, I want to wrestle. And so I started wrestling. And then that injury happened. And then they told me I would never be able to train again, do all this. At the time, I'm still like an avid MMA lover. I'm
Right.
watching UFC like crazy. Every pay-per-view that comes on, I'm begging my mom and dad to buy it. Begging them. And so, I watching this, I was like, man, this is what I want to do. This looks crazy. I already know how to strike. I know how to wrestle. Just need to learn how to mix it up. And then that was like my mentality through high school. Like I already knew I wasn't gonna go to college.
Okay.
Like, cause school's not for me. I have like really bad ADHD. So like, for instance, I'll be reading a book and I'll get like 5 chapters deep and I'm gonna be thinking about pineapples and carrots and all of a
Dude,
sudden,
5 chapters is a good amount into the book.
yeah, exactly. And then I have no idea what I just read.
Right.
And
His
so
comprehension is just toast.
yeah, it was just, man, school wasn't for me, man. I don't know, I didn't like it and I knew I wanted to fight. And the first question I asked the doctor, I was like, will I be able to train again or be able to wrestle again? And he was like, probably not.
And you're 18?
Yeah,
Ballpark?
I was 17 at the time.
17. How about this? When was the first time you got hit in the face?
Probably like 9, 8,
Okay.
8 years old, 9 years old.
How'd that go down with him?
It was a long time ago, but from what I remember, I think I was just sparring some kid my age or a kid a little older than me, and we were just sparring, and that was it. I don't think I got knocked out or
Right.
busted my nose or anything, but I do remember one time I was training and I was kind of messing around a little bit, and at the time, my head trainer he got upset with me because I wasn't taking it too serious, and that man sidekicked me so hard through the row of chairs at the studio, and then I was like, "Whoa, I can't do that again. I got to take this more serious and show some respect towards the upper belts and he really taught me a lesson right then. But that was a good lesson to teach.
How long ago was your first fight?
My first MMA fight
Yeah,
was
like your first sanctioned fight.
first sanctioned fight was in 2019.
Okay.
That was probably about a year after my injury.
Damn. All right.
Mhm.
So what'd your mom say when you're like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm gonna go fight.
Oh, they
I-
knew. I was telling them ever since I was a little kid, like I said, I was begging them to watch these UFC pay-per-views.
Mhm.
Every time UFC was on, Ultimate Fighter was on, even Strikeforce, I was watching Strikeforce too. And they knew, I think, because when I was doing karate, I didn't like the forms. I didn't like the self-defense part.
Right.
I really wanted to go in there and fight.
Again, like we kind of alluded to at the beginning, not everyone wants to be a fighter, and not everyone wants to have their friends be fighters.
Yeah.
Have there been people that ask you like, why do you do this, or even more so, like another level, like try and talk you out of doing this?
Honestly, man, I try to stay away from people like that, man.
Fuck yeah.
If you don't believe in me and believe in my work, then I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna have you in my life. Like if I feel like you don't believe in me, then it's something I'm not just gonna listen to. That's how confident I am in myself. I believe in my abilities, I believe in my training, and all my friends believe in me, my family believes in me. And I mean, at this point, nobody's telling me not to do this. Everyone's telling me to do this. If I wouldn't fight, everyone would be like, "Why aren't you fighting? What happened? Like, what can
Mhm.
we do for you? How can we get you back on track?"
So have you had to cut people out then?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I don't think this in all the interviews I've done so far, this hasn't come up yet. How do you cut people out?
Stop talking to them.
They
Just
come crawling back?
remove them off social media. Just distance yourself.
Have you ever had to explain yourself to anyone that you cut out?
I don't
Like-
give them
like-
that opportunity. If I already feel like they're saying stuff that are disbelief and all that, that's already your 3 strikes. You're out, buddy.
Uh-huh. That's crazy. Like again, like there's a good number of interviews that we've done. Not everyone's been put out yet. But yeah, that hasn't come up yet as far as like, because you do. I mean, you got to cut people out. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's one thing to like, yeah, I don't deal in negativity, and I like to use certain words and things like that. But man, there's some people like hell. I've here in the office, I've had to fire patients.
Oh yeah.
I've had to fire patients because they're shitty people, or they treat the front desk like garbage, or
I don't know why your front desk is so sweet.
well, I know, but full well, some people out there just
Yeah.
fucking suck, right? So some people are out there. God bless them, are just naturally shitty people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and the third one, like it's not so much. It's kind of like firing a patient. Like there's some people out there who just don't want to get better.
Yeah.
That just
Sure.
aren't going to improve their health. Same thing. Just go to a frame of mind. Like there's some people that they always have something negative to say.
Yeah, I think it's got to do with like maybe a little bit of jealousy too, man. Like maybe you took that step in life that they didn't have the balls to take, you know?
There's more than an ounce of truth in that.
Hmm.
There's absolutely, I mean, I did a solo episode recorded the other day, and it was completely fueled and inspired by, I got my first hater like on YouTube, and it was great because like obviously as you could tell whether it's here or just in the office,
Hmm.
this isn't scripted. Like I've got a couple of things I want to say, or even just on like a regular visit with you, like hey, just we're gonna figure out this shit as we go.
Yeah.
Guys just hating on me because like oh it's you're just rambling. Well, of course I am. That's what a conversation is, right?
It's a podcast.
Exactly. You just want to see where this shit goes. But it was cool because at the same time it's like, well, sweet, my first hater. But it blows my mind. And I have to imagine that you go through this again as a fighter, people who you have never met in your life and may not even have met your opponents, but for whatever reason, behind a keyboard, everyone's strong as fuck.
Oh yeah, man. I see so many things talking about I'm gonna get knocked out or he's got red hair. I don't want him to win. There's so much bullshit like that. And it's just honestly, it's just funny to me. Because at the end of the day, they're haters. And do you think they would say that to my face?
No, not a chance in hell.
Exactly.
Okay, so first fight at 19. How old are you now?
I'm 22.
22. How many fights you got under your belt?
9 sanctioned ones so far.
Okay.
But
How many?
probably unsanctioned 30, 40,
30 or 40.
50 maybe.
Okay. Why?
Just I did a bunch of IKF stuff. For people who don't know what IKF is like karate, not like sport karate, like touch sparring. It's more like you got rounds and there's certain rules. I did a bunch of that as a kid. Pretty much kickboxing, but you got to kick a certain amount every round.
Okay.
Like let's say we have to kick each other 5 times. It kind of just depends, but most of the time you got to throw 5 or 10 kicks a round.
Okay.
And you have 3
Okay, so
rounds.
it's like when your number jumped up, I'm like, oh shit, he's just talking about like in the parking lot.
Oh no. Honestly, I've been in a few street fights, a few school fights, but I feel like I'm pretty good at not putting myself in that situation,
Yeah.
because you gotta look at it like I'm kind of like a weapon, I could seriously hurt someone like without trying to, and a lot of repercussions nowadays for doing that.
Uh-huh.
You're not just gonna get away with that, especially if you have a title or you're a professional fighter or you got some money. People are gonna come after you.
Or even just the fact that like again, going back to like now, shit, people fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like right, like in the days of hell, maybe when you were in elementary, certainly when I was in elementary, certainly when our folks were in elementary, you got in a disagreement with somebody and you said like let's take it outside. You go outside and fight. Now you say let's take it outside. Go outside. Someone's probably gonna get shot.
Oh yeah, you get shot, you get jumped. It's crazy, especially in Texas. Everyone has a gun in Texas. There's literally a gun behind every blade of grass in Texas. So
Maybe in a desk drawer or something around here.
you got to be really careful.
Fun fact, if you do start your own business and you have an office gun, then ammunition is a tax expense.
That's pretty awesome.
Or so I'm told.
What would be the perfect gun to carry in the office?
None of your damn business. You work for the ATF? Get out of here. Fuck you. You're asking a lot of damn questions.
Hide the shotgun up in the
Yeah,
ceiling.
right? You were in let's say the karate space, for lack of a better word, transitioning to combat, MMA. How do you find the right place to train? How do you find Genesis?
So it's kind of funny because my sister had a friend that lived with us for a little bit, and her boyfriend was training at the gym that I train at now, Genesis. And he was always telling me as a kid, "Oh, dude, come train, you'll love it, you'll love it." Because I was still kind of training jujitsu with my karate guys, but it was a little different. It was just real like fundamental jujitsu, like arm bars, guard passing, nothing too technical. But at the same time, I did have a foundation when I went to Genesis. And yeah, when I was probably 13, I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And so I went up there, gave it a try, and then loved it. And then over the years, it was probably about I trained jujitsu strictly for 2 years. And then for some reason, Mark Delarosa, he was like, "Come train MMA." I was like, "I'm wrestling in high school
Why
right
do I
now."
know that name?
That's my coach.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was like, "Come train MMA." At the time, he was still fighting and he was still in the UFC. And yeah, I was like, I'm kind of iffy. And he was like, "All right, we'll think about it and let me know." And then I just a few months later, I'm out there rolling and he kind of put me on the spot. He was like, "You want to come train MMA?" And it was one of those times where it's like I felt like I couldn't say no. He's asked me in front of everyone. I was like, yeah, let's do it." And so like my first day, I go out there and we do some drills with the whole MMA team. There's like 20, 30 people there.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, so we start training and then I start sparring. And the first person I went with, I side kicked him. Like all I had at the time was straight ahead techniques, like straight punches, side kicks, and front kicks, straightforward, and spin kicks too, because that's like it's karate. And I just remember they were kicking my legs, man. They were kicking the shit out of my legs and holding me down. And after that, I was like, "Oh, I gotta get better." And then that was like, "I'm gonna keep doing this." I was like, "I feel like I could do something, and I need to keep doing this." And so like that's kind of what started it. He put me on the spot. I went out there, took his offer, and started training.
So you go out there and you get your ass kicked right away.
Yeah, literally.
More or less.
Mhm.
How do you motivate yourself to go back?
Because I don't know. I kind of became the top dog at the other gym, and I kind of grew out of that, and I wanted a different challenge. And when I came to Genesis, I seen they had like 3, 4 UFC fighters on the mat, and I was like, "Oh, that's what I want to do. Like, I'm in the right place." But like I said, I was wrestling at that time too. I was taking wrestling really serious. Like, I wanted to wrestle in college. I did, and I just after I started training MMA with them and getting my ass whooped, it was like I had to come back. I had to get better. Like I can't just leave that as an impression. I can't just quit from the first time. Like let me see what I can do and see what my growth is in a year. And if I don't make any growth and I don't get any better, then I won't do it. And so I just started getting better and better and better and better. And I don't know, I fell in love with it.
What's the key to getting better?
You just gotta stay disciplined, man. You gotta take those ass whoopings. You can't be arrogant. You gotta be willing to put yourself in that situation to get better. You gotta take that extra step. You gotta put yourself in a vulnerable position.
Someone like yourself who says put yourself in a vulnerable position, and that vulnerable position is literally
Getting
pain.
beat up.
Yeah, getting beat up. It is a cause and a source of pain.
Mm-hmm.
We've got other people who, again, going to start a business, because I mean, you are your own business, right? What more is there than just rolling? Because you've got all kinds of shit going on. It's not just a matter of like training and cardio and training and cardio.
Oh, yeah. As far as like MMA training goes, there's so much that goes into that. You have your skills training, you have, like you said, your cardio training, your strength training. But as far as like skills training, I mean, you got to work the clinch. You got to work like space management. A lot of people don't understand that. You got to work your timing. Timing is key because some people can throw with the big gloves on, but when you put those little tiny 4-ounce gloves on, it changes the game. You got to turn your wrist over. You got to do so many other things, whether you have like little gloves. So you have to train aspects that you're not really expecting, and you have to be willing to take it in with open ears.
What's your schedule like during camp?
So last week, for instance, I had strength and conditioning at 8 a.m. and then I had 1 p.m. practice, and then I had 6:30 p.m. practice. All those are an hour and a half, 2-hour practices, 3-hour practices. And then the next day happens, the same thing, 8 a.m. sharp. And then Tuesdays I have 10 a.m. practice. And then I have 1 p.m. practice. And then I'll have like a strength session that night. You know what I'm saying? It's 3-4 sessions a day, nonstop.
So how many hours are you putting in?
I really haven't counted the math,
Just
man.
ballpark it. In a day. In one day during camp.
Probably 8 or 9.
How many days a week?
6.
Okay. So 46-hour weeks.
Yeah.
50-hour weeks. How many punches do you think you throw in a day?
Especially for like our kickboxing days, probably 400, 500.
So you do one thing, let's say 250 times, because 250, 250, or 300. You practice one thing 300 times.
Pretty much.
And then you do the other thing 300 times. And you probably do the other thing 300 times.
It's just like writing an essay if you really think about it, you
Uh-huh.
know. You in college, you go to college and you learn, and then you have to take a test. How many tests do you think you took in college?
I took a shitload of tests, dude.
How many essays do you think you wrote in
I wrote a
college?
shitload of essays.
Exactly.
And you're absolutely right, because you're following along, because that's where I'm going with this. I had a coach once. We had a seminar,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a magician there. It is a badass, like, up close magic. It's a chiropractic seminar. Why is there a fucking magician here? And he asked him the same questions. He goes, "How many hours a day did you practice that card trick? Or how many times have you done that card trick?" He's like, "Oh, thousands."
Yeah.
"How many times have you practiced it with nobody watching you?" He goes, "Hundreds of thousands." And he goes, "Just so you could do it once right here in front of us." And the guy looked out and he's like, "How many of you guys have practiced one adjustment 1,000 times?" Damn sure I put my hand up. I would literally sit in chiropractic school because I was, you've been adjusted. It's quick, right? It's
Mhm.
crisp. It's fast. There's people out there who aren't that quick, crisp, and fast.
Oh yeah.
But I'd literally sit there with underneath the desk, I'd have a rubber band around my hands and I just shoot one forward. Just that little fast twitch stuff. Because again, it's those things. It's a punch, dude. It's you throw. How many punches do you think you throw in a match?
In a match, honestly, my pro fights haven't gone that much.
Yeah, I know. It's like, as words, I
I think
have
the
you made it past the first round?
no,
Or
I
have
have
I
not.
should say, have your opponents made it past the first round?
No, they have not. My last one, I probably threw maybe 6.
It only takes one punch to win, doesn't it?
Only takes
It
one.
only takes one. But like, that's the thing. Like, you threw hundreds of thousands. You've thrown hundreds and you're going to throw hundreds of thousands more.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people out there, like, they want something more. They want something better. But they're not willing to do that. The little thing, the simplest thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're going to be a fighter, better be able to fucking punch
Better be able
with
to
both
defend
hands,
yourself.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your most memorable encounter with a guy who came into the gym who's a street fighter. And don't catch me, bro, because then I'll just see red. Like, that stereotype.
There's been a few, man.
I know there has. Tell me about one.
Say any names, but
You know what I'm saying, names. I
it's
just want to hear
always-
the experience, the encounter.
It's always funny. Like, there's an old saying, like, fuck around, find out.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Most people don't know till they know. Like, they think they can watch it on TV. They think, oh, this guy's smaller than me. And he's a pro fighter, but I'm bigger. I lift weights and I'm strong. But really, like, you mess around, you're going to find out, you know? Like, there's been a few times I had to put some people down coming in from the streets because they thought they were bigger. They thought they were something when they weren't. You know what I'm saying? And they had to get their ego checked.
You ever had your ego checked?
Oh, yeah. Just like we were just talking about when I first started training MMA. They checked my ego as soon as I sidekicked them. As soon as I hit them with some kicks, it was game on.
Man, it's so... I like... you're the second or third fighter that I've interviewed. And it's fun because it's literally... There are so many parallels between fighting and business.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's something that so many people don't do. Like, there's no safety net.
Yep.
Like, it's you and another dude. The end, right? There's like, here in the office, like, if I get sick, this place closes down. Like, if I'm done, this is done. One of those kind of things. But like, what is it that, like, you've as much as you've gone through and had your ego checked, whether you wanted to or not, like, what do you possess that other people don't?
I think I just work hard, man. I work hard and I truly believe in myself. And I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't believe they can do something that they actually can. You know what I'm saying? If something feels hard to them, they're just quick to say, oh, I can't do this. I'm not capable of that. It's too hard. And that's not me. Like, if I feel like something's hard, that makes me want to do it. You know?
Where'd you get that from?
Probably my dad, honestly.
What'd your dad do?
My dad is he was a reconnaissance scout in the Army.
Okay.
Yep.
Is he still in the Army?
He just retired,
Oh, damn.
but he got up to E9.
Oh, he was in there
Mhm.
for a little bit.
Yeah, he was in there
Shit.
for a long time, since he was 17.
How old is he now?
56,
Damn, man.
57.
That's awesome. You have any
Yeah.
brothers and sisters, or just you?
I have one brother and 2 sisters. I'm the youngest out of 4.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
What do the other ones do?
My oldest sister, she was a dental assistant, and then now she's just a stay-at-home mom. My brother-in-law, he works for Encore.
Uh-huh.
He makes pretty good money working for Encore. They do all like the electrical poles and
Yeah.
stuff. And my sister, she sells insurance. She makes really good money selling insurance.
None of your siblings ever asked you, hey, or said, hey, just why don't you come work with me instead of getting hit in the face?
No, because they know. They know I would say no, and they believe in me too.
Part of the stubbornness, I mean, again, just comes from like, you show up, you get beat up, you keep coming back, you show up, you get beat up, you keep coming back. There are just so many people that won't even do that for like just a regular paycheck kind of thing. Like that's not like you don't have a paycheck, dude.
No, not yet. I get paid every time I fight, and luckily I have good enough sponsors to where they keep money in my pockets, and I'm able to train full time, and I don't have to get a job.
What was your first check from a fight? Do you remember?
My first pro check, I think it was like $800 and $800. 800 to show and 800 to win.
There are plenty of people, we talk about how do you deal with setbacks and how do you deal with, just getting your ass kicked. But then also, how do you deal with fucking assholes? Like literally in your profession,
Mm-hmm.
there's a showmanship aspect to it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's one thing to, tell yourself and tell you like, I'm not going to feed into it. I'm not going to buy into this stuff. But then too, like, that's part of how, in some sense, that's how you make money. Not you jumping out there being an asshole, but you just in the realm of fighting. I mean, the people who can work a mic, you learn to fucking hate them, but then they
Oh,
still
yeah.
draw in money. So how do you separate what is this guy being an absolute asshole versus what is this guy just trying to basically drum up his own business?
Especially like his opponents, I kind of like when they talk. It gives me that much fuel. Like if I'm feeling tired in the gym, I just start thinking about that. Oh, he was talking shit. So that's going to push me extra hard to train. And as far as like promoters and people up there that are assholes, I don't even let it bother me. It goes in one out the other. And I'm just doing my job, training hard and staying ready for fights.
If you could trade places with anyone for a day, who would it be?
Probably someone who has a ton of money so I can see what it feels like when I'm there, Someone with all these fast cars, huge houses, ton of money. It would probably be someone like that. Maybe like Floyd Mayweather, maybe like Conor McGregor, maybe, guys like that take their spot for a day and get to see what it's really like. So when I'm in that position, I know what it feels like. So it don't like catch me off guard or, surprise me. Because, sometimes people say it's like lonely at the top, but
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
I mean, you've already kind of alluded to part of it, like just going into the fight game, you've had to cut people out.
Oh yeah.
Like there literally, I feel like there's a pyramid to it. Like the more or the higher you get up in more of a niche thing, something that requires more of your time, more of your energy, it's the fewer friends you're gonna have.
Yeah, I mean, especially like you look at it like this, is MMA is really not a team sport. I mean, you have a team, you have a group of coaches, but they're
But
not
they're
the
on the
one.
outside of the cage when the
Yeah,
shit hits fan.
they're not in there when
Nope.
the cage door locks. They're not
Uh-huh.
in there when you're getting beat on. Like you're really in there by yourself, and you have to be willing to be okay with being alone. I'm gonna be alone in there for possibly 35 minutes. In front of thousands of people. I'm okay with that. I've been preparing for that.
What's the weirdest thing you've done in the cage?
In the cage, man, I actually threw up in one of my fights. It was like, so my first ever fight, MMA fight, I just was feeling weird. I think I even told my coach before I went, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And he was like, man, quit being a bitch. And so I went out there and like I hit, as soon as we started fighting, I just felt that again. I felt like I was just gonna throw up. And so I had to find that in me. And, I pretty much had just to hold the dude down until I was able to get my wits about me. And I was able to finish him. And then right after the fight, it just. Blah,
So you won the fight.
I won the
fight.
fight.
I got to puke, so I got to end this.
Mm-hmm.
Win. Okay. Don't raise my hand. Give me a bucket.
Immediately after, I just started throwing up.
The reason I asked it, like, in rugby, I don't know why, but I would sing. Like I would go there and I would just be like, we'd be getting in scrums, and I'd just be singing just whatever fucking song popped into my head. Again, I don't know why this popped into my head now. Like, what's the weirdest thing you ever done in the cage? Because I always go on the rugby pitch and just start singing when we're just tackling people, beating the shit out of each other.
What songs would you sing?
Dude, I don't know, whatever's in my head. More often than not, like I shit you out there, like nursery rhymes or like fucking Sesame Street kind of shit. Just
That's hilarious.
childish bullshit.
Just to make him mad.
Well, yeah, because what was even to make him mad? Or just like, part of me thinks it was to take my mind off of one, how absolutely tired I was, and two, again, just the pain. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Work hard and don't look back. Work hard, don't look back.
How about the best compliment?
People tell me I'm a good role model, stuff like that.
Cool.
That would probably be the best. I mean, I get compliments about fighting and all the time, and it's like, yeah, but I'd rather be like a role model instead of, just being an asshole fighter,
Why do you want to be a role model?
I feel like there's a lot of negative in the world today, A lot of negatives. There's just weird shit going on, man, and just be a role model for the kids,
Mm-hmm. Where can people find you? Shit, I like this guy. I want to follow him. He looks like Thug Nasty Jr.
My Instagram is Colton Loud MMA. Yeah, you just look me up, Colton Loud MMA, and pretty much find me on whatever.
Have you reached out to Thug Nasty? What's his name again?
Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce, that's right.
I think when you posted this one time this picture of me and you tagged him, I think he actually liked it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude, really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. Good luck this weekend. I'll be there. Got a table ringside. Girls are coming. Once again, guys, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. Like, share, follow, tell your friends. You will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. There's plenty of cool shit out there that people are doing against the wishes of others for the sole purpose of just trying to better themselves. What do you want to do? I want to be a fucking role model. There's a bunch of stupid fucking fighters out there. It's got a bad name. That's awesome. So again, I appreciate it. Like, share, follow. Colton, good luck. Everyone, we'll catch you on the next episode.